Thank you, Shantata. Good afternoon. This is the technical session one. I, on behalf of the organizer, express a warm welcome to all the participants and our esteemed speakers. I am happy to announce that this session will be chaired by the Professor Tapushi Shom. I welcome Professor Shom, who is a retired faculty member, Department of Philosophy, Bardhaman Raj College. We have altogether 7 speakers in this session who will talk on different aspects and philosophical thoughts. I sincerely believe that this session will be interesting. With this small introduction, I would request Professor Shom to speak few words on this occasion. Professor Shom, please.
So good afternoon. I am requesting Dr. Malini Mukherjee to present your papers. Topic: the epistemic and ontological exploration on the gendered quality of life. You may now start. 6 minutes time.
Thank you, madam. I hope my PowerPoint is visible.
Yes, visible.
Okay. Thank you so much. I am Dr. Malini Mukherjee from Lady Brabourne College, Kolkata. Is revisiting the epistemological and the ontological meaning of quality of life for women. This paper is basically covering both the philosophical angle drawn on the empirical studies of a group of Zari women workers from Panchla area of Bengal. It is thus an amalgamation of both empirical as well as a theoretical intervention. I start off my presentation with the meaning of quality of life, Jiboner Gunogoto Man. The search for what constitutes a good life has been a pivot of study of philosophers and economics since the Aristotelian era. Human life presents an amazing paradox where happiness, well-being, satisfaction, when attempted to put in the heading of quality of life, opens a very difficult field of understanding, as there are several standpoints, theories, and models. But interestingly, among them, the gendered element is somehow neglected. Just few days back, we celebrated throughout the world the International Women's Day. There was a talking of including, overall inclusion of women's, but somehow when it comes to women's work, their employment and their overall quality of life related to that work, somehow we find a very research gap, a glaring research gap in that field. With this, I start off my presentation. The first half that I am covering will be on the epistemological, all the philosophical aspects of quality of life. Second, there will be the methodological query. And third will be the gendered qualities of work life drawn from these women artisans. The pictures presented here are from the field survey done by me during the PhD work. I'll try to put over here the Aristotelian account of the good life, the Greek term with the Greek term eudaimonia. Here, eudaimonia, as we all know, is made up of two terms. Eu means well and domain means divinity or spirit, simply meaning living a good life. Living a good life, according to Aristotle, consists of being engaged in a lifelong purposeful activity, which actualizes the virtues of the soul. Aristotle, like Socrates and Plato, believes in the inculcation of ethical virtues as central to the well lived life. Here comes the domain of lifelong purposeful activities in case of women. Next comes Kant's philosophy, which rests on the goodness of life and theory of justice. Then we are invigorating on John Rawls' notion of primary goods. Then Professor Nobel laureate Amartya Sen's and Nathan Nussbaum's theories of capability approach and Nussbaum's list of substantive freedom. Here, my work is on understanding that when there is a loss of work, how women loses on their substantive freedom of life, and there is also a capability dissolution of women, which results in not only the loss of their living standard but also in their well-being and agencies. So, when we are coming to address the quality of life, we are not only looking into the physical assets, the income, the health, the education, but also into the subjective variables like happiness, intra-household power dynamics, decision making, autonomy, agency,
Please,
leisure time.
time
Yes, yes, ma'am.
time
Just
is
one
very
minute, I'll move on.
short, so you please conclude
Okay,
your
sure.
paper.
Yes. So the last I would like to say that this, when we are bringing this contour of gendered quality of life, then we will understand that work is not only the activity; it is also the essence of one's well-being, essence of one's personhood, of one's identity, as Amartya Sen says, that loss of work results in identity disregard. And here in my paper, in my presentation, which addresses the destitution of work of the subaltern women, it is not only the sense of economic loss, but loss of purposefulness, a sense of victimhood, which results in a keen sense of destitution and fatalism, which results in lowering the overall gendered index of a well lived life, which Aristotle calls a purposeful life. That's all. Thank you. Thanks for your patience here. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good presentation. And I am also enriched from your paper.
Thank you, and I'm humbled, madam.
If anybody has any questions, we have a very short time window. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next session. Does anyone have any questions, or we can move on to the next presenter? Okay.
So next paper presenter, Dr. Udita Mitro, Assistant Professor, Sri Shikhayatam College, Kolkata. I am requesting you to present your paper. Paper name হচ্ছে Public Sphere, Contribution of Habermas in Understanding the Philosophy of Social Change. Now you may start.
Good afternoon. I would just ask if you can see my presentation. I'll just share the presentation. If you can see
Yes,
my
ma'am, you're
presentation.
visible. Yeah,
Okay,
you're visible and audible.
okay. So my paper is mainly a theoretical paper on Habermas, a very influential German philosopher and sociologist. And through this paper, I have tried to show the interrelationship or a multidisciplinary approach between sociology and philosophy in understanding social change in the contemporary society. Now, Habermas, through his concept of public sphere, he has tried to show the change of society from pre-modern to modern society, and this has been a standard topic of discussion for the sociologists. And for the philosophers, the aim of philosophy is to philosophize, is to problematize, is to answer the queries of society, to rationalize, as Shabdo sir said in his introductory session. So my paper would be a multidisciplinary approach whereby I look at Habermas and his contributions in sociology and philosophy, starting on the theory of social change and especially through his theory of public sphere. Now, my paper has, the current paper has three subsections. As you can see, I have first understood the concept of public sphere, then I have talked of the decline of the public sphere in the European society, and then how it can be resurfaced and what solution Habermas has given to the problems of the modern society. Now, what is a public sphere? Public sphere, according to Habermas, is the civil society basically. And according to him, it had originally developed in the 18th and 19th century in Europe, in which mainly middle class people participated. And he has found this public sphere in the inns, taverns, salons, and coffee houses, and also in the bourgeoisie press. Now, in the public sphere, what happened, and I have written it in detail in my paper, but I would not go into much detail since time is limited. In this public sphere, different kinds of social issues were discussed by people, mainly from the middle class, but the bourgeois society had opened itself to the middle class, and people from different walks of life could discuss about state.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am, but your slide is not changing. We're still at the first slide.
First slide, okay. I have just okay, স্লাইড শো তো আমি করেছি, দেখুন তো এবার চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, এবারও কি চেঞ্জ
এবার
হচ্ছে?
চেঞ্জ হয়েছে, হ্যাঁ, ডিক্লাইন অফ পাবলিক স্ফিয়ার এবার চেঞ্জ
হ্যাঁ
হয়েছে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, এবার পাবলিক স্ফিয়ারটাই কিন্তু আমি এক্সপ্লেন করছি, সেই জন্য চেঞ্জ হয়নি। সো পাবলিক স্ফিয়ার হচ্ছে এমন একটা জায়গা যেখানে পিপল হ্যাড কুড টেক ফ্রি ডিসকাশনস রিগার্ডিং স্টেট, দ্য ভায়োলেন্স অফ দ্য স্টেট, এবং many other topics which perhaps were not allowed in the feudal society. And therefore, public sphere, according to Habermas, was a very important space of rational discussion. Now, in the second part of my paper, I have talked mainly about the decline of the public sphere, এবং তার ফলে how Habermas has shown a change in the society or social transformation. উনি কি বলছেন? Public sphere gradually towards the 20th century, and with the inroads of capitalism, with capitalism sitting tight, and with the coming in of globalization, this public sphere was dominated by very important by the media. And উনি বলেছেন যে পাবলিক স্ফিয়ার ইজ দ্য অনলি ওয়ে, মানে মডার্নিটি হচ্ছে একটা ভীষণ প্রোগ্রেসিভ অ্যান্ড লিবারেটিং সোসাইটি, অ্যান্ড সেটা আস্তে আস্তে কি হচ্ছে, ইট ইজ গোয়িং আন্ডার দ্য influence of the media dominated society that we are living in today, and the media is shaping our values, shaping our attitudes, shaping our ideology. And rather than we are যেটা হেবারমাস বলছেন যে পাবলিক স্ফিয়ারে the open discussion,
kindly sum up quickly, we're almost out of
yes, the public sphere was it has been dominated by the media, and the society is moving towards an unequal society. And the way out that he gave is developing communicative rationality. Communicative rationality মানে উনি বলছেন একটা morality developmenটের কথা, একটা ethical জায়গা যেখানে people can again freely discuss on topics that will be controlling the powers of the state. এরকম একটা জায়গার কথা উনি কমিউনিকেটিভ র্যাশনালিটি নিয়ে বলছেন। Habermas has been criticized by many theories, and the main criticism hurled against him is that he was too utopian, because he was mainly speaking on assumption. But
please wrap up, ma'am.
Yes, but the greatest conclusion that we can draw from his theory is that he understood change of modern society. He looked at it from a critical lens, and he also found how he also said that how media is dominating society, and he developed a place for wisdom to take over so that we can come back to a very democratic social structure. Thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাডাম, খুব ভালো প্রেজেন্টেশন, এবং হ্যাবারমাস সম্পর্কে আমি নিজেও একটু এনরিচড হলাম, ভালো লাগলো।
Thank you, ma'am.
থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংক ইউ।
কারো কোনো প্রশ্ন না থাকলে আমরা
এনি কোশ্চেন? আচ্ছা, নেক্সট হচ্ছে নেক্সট রিডার মানে প্রেজেন্টার মিস্টার অনির্বাণ মুখার্জি, রিসার্চ স্কলার, IIT Guwahati. The topic: Reconsidering Business Ethics, a comparative analysis of Rawlsian social contract theory and consequentialist approaches.
Good morning, everyone.
Anirban Mukherjee.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Let me just quickly share my presentation. Is my presentation visible? Is my presentation visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible.
Yeah, that's a
Your
problem.
screen is visible.
Is the presentation visible? Because I can then just...
No, your presentation is not visible. You're just presenting your screen, not the PPT per se.
Okay, just one second. How do I start? Is it visible now?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Still not visible.
Presenting. It's going round. Yeah, now it's visible.
And the slides are changing?
No.
The slide should say introduction.
Slideshow হচ্ছে না কিন্তু।
Slideshow, আমি slideshow start করেছি. I do not know কেন শুরু
হ্যাঁ, stockholder theory, হ্যাঁ, এবার দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
Very good. Thank
Okay.
you. There's a lag. There's a slight lag, so please bear with me. Anyways, so very good morning, everyone, and thank you to the college for allowing me to present. So I'll be speaking on today, reconsidering business ethics, comparative analysis of Rawlsian social contract theory and consequentialist approaches. Basic problem, what is business? Most people say there is no such thing as business ethics. Why? Because business is supposedly involved with making money, and ethics is about moral principles. And apparently, making money doesn't go with moral principles. That is what is basically a very common understanding that most people have. But it doesn't need to be true, because there is an emerging field of research called business ethics, which says that just because you make money doesn't mean that it shouldn't be made in a moral way. Like, you can make money by murdering people, becoming an assassin, but that is not a moral way to make money. So this division between business and ethics comes from a separation thesis, which says that business, because it has to do with making money, has nothing to do with morality, and morality has to do with behavior, which has nothing to do with making money. It's a very old problem. And so today we have main two approaches in business ethics: stockholder and stakeholder theory. Stockholder theory basically says businesses have only one objective, that is to make money. They have no social responsibilities, and this was given by an equally famous Nobel laureate in economics called Milton Friedman back in 1962. So there is no reason to do any ethical action in business, and that's what we mostly see. But there is a growing concern that people get affected by business activities. Like, for example, if a factory is testing fertilizers and they're dumping the water into a nearby river, that can contaminate the field of farmers, who will then have less yield. The farmers have nothing to do with that company, perhaps, but they're still being affected. So does the company or the factory not have a responsibility to ensure that their actions don't affect others? So this is called stakeholder theory. Even without being a client or a consumer, you can be affected by a business. So businesses have a responsibility to act in a moral fashion. This is not a rejection of pursuit of profitability. It just says that take care that your actions. So business ethics mostly comes in when we talk about stakeholder theory. Now, what is consequentialism? Consequentialism basically says undertake those moral actions which the greatest number of people get affected in a positive manner. And the stockholders would say, if asked to be ethical, that that we pursue profit and pursue.
Your slide is not changing, and if you're trying to change it, it's still stuck in the first slide. So I just thought I would tell you.
Yeah. So let me share again with a. Let me just see. Stop sharing.
Please.
Just one second. Let me share again so that Maybe if I share it like this instead of a slideshow. Is it on stockholders? Is it on consequentialism now? Is it on
Yes,
consequentialism
it
now?
is on consequentialism and business ethics. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, so stockholders would say that we pursue profit. Pursuit of profit would stimulate economy, and if economy is stimulated, everybody benefits. So we are actually doing a moral thing by pursuing profit. But here is the fallacy of equivocation. Sell goods or services for money. Money is actually a secondary thing. The primary thing of any business is to give a good or a service. So that is the motive, to provide a service to society, and that service has to be a good service, because if a business is trying to sell drugs, for example, it's not considered a business by any government in the world. So profit actually becomes secondary. So stockholders are basically equivocating purpose of business, which is profit, with the motive of business, which is to do basically to do good. Now, there are some other problems also, difference in obligations, all that. We'll come to that in the next slides. So the first problem of any consequential theory of business ethics is stockholders are always less than other stakeholders. So people would always say take actions which benefit other stakeholders, which basically means that we are being over demanding, which basically means we're asking the company to sacrifice profit completely and do nothing but good, basically making a for-profit organization a not-for-profit organization. That is not how economics works. That is not possible. It would also be unsustainable, because trying to do good all the time by sacrificing profit would be unsustainable, and the company would go out of business. That's also not something. Now, the problem of this happens because consequentialism is agent neutral. That everybody. Yes.
You come to conclusion.
Yes, I'm almost done. There's just 2 slides left. So consequentialism is basically agent neutral. That is why this problem happens. Everybody has the same value. Now, the difference with social contract theory is social contract theory talks about different principles of right contract as a rational agreement. Now, corporations have a lot of power today because they are a mass of social power or financial power, and they have a lot of social and financial capital to play in the world. So this would motivate the difference principle behind the veil of ignorance, where we to take care of it. Like in an original position, you would choose those principles which would benefit the worst stuff in society. Companies are not the worst stuff. It is the clients who are the worst stuff. People who get stakeholders who are the worst stuff. So the idea is, because corporations have more wealth, they would have to
Interrupt করছি, time is over. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hope you have
Can quickly conclude in 1 or 2 sentences.
So the basic idea is that we motivate the difference principle behind the veil of ignorance, because behind the veil of ignorance, we do not know whether we would be a corporation or a stakeholder after the veil is lifted. So the idea is, because corporations have greater power, they have to take care of social and economic inequalities as well. There could be an objection that corporations are not part of the basic structure, but there is a certain quote which I would have shown, that Rawls says that all principles of domestic justice also flow to local justice, which is basically what governs associations, which are also basically corporations.
Thank you for your enhancing presentation. Okay.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Next, Abhijit Tarokdar. I am announcing the name Abhijit Tarokdar, research scholar, Presidency University, Kolkata. Subject.
ম্যাম উনি বোধহয় ঢুকতে চাইছেন, ওনাকে যদি একটু অ্যাকসেপ্ট করা হয় গ্রুপে লিখেছেন। হ্যাঁ, একটু দেখুন।
ওকে ওকে হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আমরা এক্ষুনি ব্যবস্থা করব। Just give us a second.
Next name Abhijit Tarokdar, Presidency University, Kolkata. PhD research scholar. Topic: a response to the debate on moral absolutism and relativism, a meta-ethical inquiry. Now you may start. 6 minutes.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. The title of my paper is A Response to the Debate on Moral Absolutism and Relativism, a meta-ethical inquiry from Wittgenstein's perspective. So, here we have actually, in this short research article, our discussion will be focused on the question that whether moral judgments are absolute or relative from Wittgenstein's perspective. So, in the beginning of 20th century, the analytic turn in Western philosophy accelerated interest in the discussion of metaethics with a new analytical approach, and which seeks the answer to the question regarding the debate between moral absolutism and relativism, which also revolves around the nature of moral judgments. So, on the other hand, there is another debate which is revolving around an epistemological question regarding the origin of moral judgments, which is called the debate between cognitivism and non-cognitivism. So, so here I will analyze the metaphysical question about the nature of moral concepts, values, judgments, and its interrelation with the notion of cognitivism and non-cognitivism. So as the time is short, I will move on to the Wittgenstein's ethical approach. It is necessary to analyze the early Wittgenstein's understanding of ethics to know his view about the moral status of ethical judgments, whether it is absolute or relative. Everything what Wittgenstein has done was on the basis of language analysis, and he talked about the isomorphism of language, thought, and reality. And the ethical approach of Wittgenstein is also the outcome of his such linguistic analysis. So, in this article, we will be limited our discussion in the ethical understanding of Wittgenstein only. We need to discuss some important concepts like good, evil, scope of philosophical inquiry to understand his ethical view. So, his view on ethics. So, according to Wittgenstein, the task of philosophy is not to make theory, rather to clarify our thoughts. He opines the object of philosophy is the logical clarification of thoughts. According
that Shomara is here. So, is there any other? Pronovesh Paludkar is not also here. Shomoita, is there anyone else?
I can't see anyone else. Not right now, not in my screen at least.
Okay, is there anyone in the original list that we provided? Anyone else? Have all the participants except Shomarai and Pronovesh? Okay. So, uh, so I don't think that anyone else is left for today's presentation. This was the first online presentation that we had today. Originally, 7 of our participants were to present the paper. 5 of them have successfully done so. And it's time now, after this very exhilarating session, for our Honorable Chairperson to make a concluding remark. Taposhini, please make your concluding remark.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আপনারা যারা আজকে প্রত্যেকেই এই যে পেপার প্রেজেন্ট করলেন খুবই সুন্দর, এবং আমি নিজেও খুব এনরিচড হয়েছি। অনেক অজানা বিষয় আমি জানতে পারলাম আপনাদের মাধ্যমে। তো এরকম আরো চাইবো যে আপনারা আরো এগিয়ে যান এবং আরো সুন্দর সুন্দর পেপার পরিবেশন করুন ভবিষ্যতে, সেই আশাটাই রাখছি। থ্যাংক ইউ এভরিবডি।
Thank you, ma'am. Unmute করতে হবে।
Okay. So this leads to the conclusion of the first online session of our seminar, of our conference. It was a nice experience and a learning experience for all of us. Learning in two ways because we came to know of various prospects, possibilities, different areas of philosophy, philosophical contributions of the present time through the valuable contributions from our presenters. But not only that, we had certain learning curve that we had to negotiate so far as technology was concerned. We somehow managed to overcome the all the technological barriers that we have. We had certain hiccups, interruptions, and thank you very much for bearing with us all those hiccups and interruptions. Uh, Tomorrow there is another online session. Uh, I hope we will be better prepared, able to better manage it. I would also like our participants who joined us online to, to join us in the YouTube channel for the rest of the session. There are two YouTube channels that are available, which are going on simultaneously, projecting two different feeds of the simultaneous sessions. Um, and these two sessions are available. I hope our participants will join that session tomorrow also and the rest of today. Tomorrow at 10:30, there is a special lecture by our international guest from Tribhuvan University in Nepal. I hope all of you will join the YouTube feed, if not being able to join us physically in the conference. So with this, we come to an end of this session. Thank you very much for joining us.